Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely now with the lease options, I've done the modules and all that. I was like, now my mindset has shifted because I've just been doing, buying and holding.
But that's okay. I mean, you've been doing a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
How many
You
houses have you done since you've been with me?
know, going on, well, 3 so far and working on 4 and 5. hmm So and it's just been, I mean, one after another.
Yeah.
It's
And you haven't spent any money on marketing, have you?
No, the only thing for the house that I'm about to buy that I already rented it, I just posted it on Zillow and it rented.
But you
Yeah.
haven't sent any yellow letters or
Nope. No, I honestly,
postcards or bandit
I
signs
I
or
haven't done none of the marketing, none of the yellow letters, like none. I haven't.
you're gonna make $100,000 and you just signed up and learned.
Yeah, I haven't. I really haven't sat down and done any yellow letters. And yesterday actually, I went back to the module to see how to do the yellow letters because I haven't.
It cracks me up. Make that money, honey.
Yes.
Whatever you need from me, and then go make that money, honey. You do it.
And my husband was like your husband. Like he in the beginning he was skeptical about my family has always invested in real estate and not his family. So when I told him about buying the duplex, he's like, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with renters and blah blah blah." And I said, "I'm going to take care of them." And now that he has seen, he's like, "We need to buy another house." And I said, "Yeah."
Is he tired of listening to me in the background?
He's just like, "There goes that lady again."
Where did she come from? She's so loud.
He's like, and I tell him, like I'll be in my room like right now, and he'll be laying in bed, and I tell him put some headphones on and watch your phone, and he's
and,
like, okay.
and what about the kids? How do you work this around the kids?
So I'm basically here by myself. I really don't have any family. My mom moved here in November, but she comes and goes to Chicago. So with being a realtor, I kind of just work whenever I want. Like right now they're napping, and this is when I get stuff done. Or in the evenings when my husband is home, but that's I've liked the income that I've been getting with being a realtor, but at the end of the day, it's so much work. You're chasing the clear to close, the damn inspections, oh, it didn't appraise, or it's such a headache. And so I was telling my husband, I said, the income has been good, blah blah blah, but honestly, I mean, if you don't like draw a line, it can really eat up your life. I mean, I have people calling me at 8:30, 9:30 o'clock, and if I don't answer, they're like, well, I called you. I said, I don't answer my phone after 8 o'clock. Okay. I have a life, you know? And then they'll call me, I want to see a house. My daughter has piano lessons. I have 3 daughters and they keep me busy. And to me, that's my priority. I like today I went into the office for a couple of hours in the morning. That's what I usually do. But in the evenings, it's about them.
Yeah.
Cooking dinner, feeding them, homework. I mean, it's an endless, list of things that I need to do.
For sure. And
Mm-hmm.
that is priority number one.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think, if you can do 4 or 5 deals,
Yes.
even just in 2 or 3 months
Mm-hmm.
and still make $100,000, that leaves another chunk of the year and
Yes.
your life that you actually get to enjoy.
Exactly. And that's what I was telling that friend of mine that works with me. I was like, because she was mentioning that she was really feeling burnt out in that last summer she didn't have time for her kids. And I said, yeah, is it really worth it to be chasing these deals and not spend time with your kids? I said, no. I said, not to me. I said, you know, because I went into real estate as supplemental income, you know. This is just extra money.
Yeah.
But I'm not, you know, my husband pays the bills. I don't have to sit here and, because I see realtors that are burnt out because they're out there like day and night. And no, to me, that's not worth it. So to me, I'm just like, you know, I'm taking, you know, what I've been making and investing in real estate.
I think, you know, with the owner financing deals that you've been getting also, those people are going to respect your time with the family a lot more than a buyer or seller that's depending on you.
Oh, most definitely. I can see it. I mean, you know, because these buyers and sellers, and the sellers are the worst. Like, I usually work the buying side. I prefer them. The sellers, you know, they just think their house is worth this, and the emotional attachment, you know,
in regular real estate.
Yes, they're not realistic in what their house is worth, and then, you know, they get upset because of the inspections and the appraisal, and I'm just like, I prefer the buyer because the buyer is motivated. The buyer wants to buy a house, and the sellers, most of the time, they don't.
I think what you've been finding, the sellers on the investing side, though, that are motivated, and they're not motivated by the money, though, which gives them a different energy. It gives them a different vibe, you know, like they've got other things going on, where in regular real estate, it's just about the money on the seller side.
Oh, of course.
There's no heart in it.
Exactly. And so you know, and I'm always telling the people that I've been talking to, you know, hey, if you know anyone, you know, that is just tired of their house, or, you know, they don't even live here anymore because they're traveling to see family or whatever, you know, and the house is just sitting vacant. Like, seriously?
I can help you.
Yeah. I was like, why would you just have a house that's sitting vacant? You know, a vacant house starts falling apart. And I said, well, why don't you just sell it and collect a monthly check? Yep. And it, you know, and then you start making like your own rapport with people. And I think that's important because
it's the relationship that you set up with them. Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. People start thinking, hey, you know, I've done business with her before, or she, you know, I've heard of her doing business for this and this, and, you know, and it was so funny because the other day, this young guy that is like starting to buy and flip, he called me for advice, and I was like, I haven't even done a flip.
But you're out there and you're doing stuff and you're getting it done, and there's lots of people out there wishing and hoping and praying, but they're just not talking to people and building the relationships, and that's where the deals come from. It's not a math problem.
It really isn't.
A relationship building exercise, and that's why women are so good at this.
Yes, and I think the most important thing, what you say in your modules, is you know, listen and find out what they're needing, you know, because if you just sit there and say, oh, well, this is what I'm offering you, and they take it as, oh, she's just trying to take advantage. And so when you kind of, they think you're showing sympathy to them when you're like, so, you know, what's going on, you know, well, this and that. And then they're like, oh, you know, she's on the same page I am, you know, she's trying to help me.
And that lady you said on one of your deals you got going, she came with a better purchase price than what you were going to offer her because you weren't talking.
Yes. Yes. If I would have sat there, I would have slapped myself because she, you know, I didn't throw any numbers at her. And she just told me, and they were way better than what I was thinking.
And though you didn't have to lowball her, you didn't have to make her mad, you didn't have to do anything. You basically said, what will you take? And she made a really good decision.
I was like, wow. Yeah, when she told me, that's exactly what I thought. Good thing I didn't start running my mouth.
I can't believe this worked.
Yeah. I was like, this is better than I thought, you know?
I love it.
And it's so true. Like, you need to learn to listen. Mm-hmm. And, you know,
I'm
just
proud of you.
Thank you. And just let them know, like, you know, I said this works in both of our favors, you know? And when I broke it down to her about how much she was paying on the house, taxes and insurance, plus the management fee, I said, how much are you making? And she's like, you're right. And yeah. So, I'm excited. It's, I definitely, like I was telling my husband, I said, I made up my mind. Like this past year, I've been swamped with just being a realtor. And I haven't really focused on what investing is. And now I'm just like, my mindset has changed. And I said, now I'm going to focus on investing. And being a realtor is just play money. Yep.
That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is so, so awesome. I'm so excited. And you'll be a happier wife. You'll be a happier mom. You'll be a better investor. You'll be just, it's just incredible.
Yep. And so I wanted to ask you on your investments. I know you said that you manage them, right? With your accountant, I think.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, how do you collect rent? Do you have them deposited? What has made your life easier?
They put it into my bank account, and that makes some people nervous, but it just doesn't bother me because the way my bank is set up, it's a local bank and they can't withdraw anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I give them a deposit slip and they just put the money in.
Okay.
The biggest headache is sometimes they don't write their address or they pay in cash. And
Yeah.
so if 3 people are giving me $800 and 3 people put money in, but somebody paid on the 6th, so they should have paid a late fee. Now I have to go text all 3 of them and be like, how much money did you put in? When did you put it in? And like give them the 3rd degree. And I'm like, if you would just write your address on the deposit slip.
Okay. Yeah, because I was, now that my investments have been growing, I've been old school. I go and collect the rent, but I want to simplify my life and make things so much easier. Now, do you do monthly inspections? How do you handle that? I don't either.
I am a lazy landlord. I try not to drive by because when I go by, and the reason I stopped collecting is they wanted something fixed. They wanted to talk about something. They wanted to hang out. They wanted to whatever. I don't get paid that way. You put the money in the bank. You do what you're supposed to do, and I'll do what I'm supposed to do, and we'll just have nice, happy lives. I try not to go by.
Yes, and I think that's what I'm going to change because the first of the month is hectic for me because I'm sitting here collecting rent,
And as your portfolio grows, you just can't stand that anymore.
No.
And as a lady, as a safety precaution, I just don't want you carrying around that much. Even if it's checks, I don't want you to. I don't know. That makes me nervous.
Because people will know she's here for rent.
Yeah, I don't. That makes me nervous. Today's people are crazy today. That just
they are. So I'm gonna start as of next month. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm just gonna pass out, and
send them a letter, explain it to them, give them, where they can go to the bank, the closest branch to them, whatever, walk them through the process. There's a little bit of training involved. And you may want to go to the bank and say, hey, people are going to start paying me and I'm sure they won't ever have you, but they do.
And whenever you need repairs, how do you handle that?
I give my tenant buyers the repairs because I don't have regular rentals.
I see.
But like on my triplex, I manage the triplex, and they just text me and they'll say, the screen door's busted or the toilet's clogged or whatever, and I'll say, well, it'll be a couple days, and I'll have somebody come by.
Okay.
And then I'll call the plumber and say, Chris is in 2018. Here's his phone number. You set up who's going to be there and when or where.
That's pretty much what I do. I just like if the plumber needs to go out, I send him the tenant's number.
Yeah, I broker it.
Yep. And but that's great because with the lease options, the repairs are up to them.
Yeah. It's a training program. It's a training wheels program. When they get the mortgage, because I want them to be of the buyer mindset, not the renter mindset. And I tell them, when you get a mortgage and the toilet gets clogged, you got to fix it. So go ahead and start fixing it now.
Yep. It's true. It is so true. So I know you mentioned only one of your people actually went and got a mortgage. So everybody else has
left or extended.
Wow. So they just say, you know what? I need an extension for another year or 2.
Here's $5,000. Give me another 12 months. And then they leave.
Oh, so I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned that on lease options, the first $5,000 do not go towards the purchase price. So how do you handle when they're like, what do you mean it doesn't go towards the purchase price?
I mean, that's just what I get paid for putting this deal together.
Good. I wanted to ask you. I haven't had it, I haven't done it, but I wanted to know, like, do people ask you, like, well, what do you mean?
Oh,
They just want it.
they just want it. And I don't get in the way of their dreams.
So you just get the paperwork ready where it says, let's say they're doing 10,000, and you just say only 5,000 is going towards the purchase price. Mm-hmm. Nice.
And, I screen them, and they go through an application, and everything's, T's are crossed, I's are dotted. It's all good. But I let them know that it's their responsibility to get the mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Their responsibility to get their credit repaired. It's their, and, they're always in love with it. And then, life happens, and they either decide they need a bigger house, or they decide they need a smaller house, or they want to be closer to their mom, or they want to be farther away from their mom, or they decided they don't want to be married anymore, or they decided that they don't like the blue roof anymore, whatever, they just leave.
Yep.
It never has anything to do with me and my deal or the house. It's usually just, they just decide to leave.
Life happens. Life, things change.
Things change. They get their they get the income returns next year. They get another fresh pot of money, and they go buy something else.
Yep. So, how do you screen them?
In module, I think 8, it goes all the way through the company that we use, and I
haven't done that one.
There's a link on my Whitney Buys Houses website that sends them straight to where they're supposed to. So I don't touch anything with their social security numbers. I don't touch any of their W-2s or their 1099s. I don't touch any of that. They send it straight to this company, and they screen it, and it takes 2 or 3 days. I've seen them get it done in 3 hours. I've seen them take 3 weeks to get it back. But it's all depending on how quickly these people give them the paperwork so they can verify everything.
Yep. That's great.
Then they just send me a report back, and they usually tell me, he can be ready in 18 to 24 months, or they'll be ready in 6 to 8 months, or they need to do this, or there's no chance in hell that they're ever going to be able to buy anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's up to me, and I say, depending on what he said, all right, well, y'all agreed to give me 10,000, but that was if you could get this in 12 months, and they're saying it's going to be more like 24 months. Can you give me any more? And they'll say, yeah, we could probably give you about 16,000.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay.
I was thinking 12, but again, I shut up.
Yes.
They offered 16.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
Or you say, he says there's no way. He says that it's going to be a disaster, and so I'm blaming somebody else. It's not me.
Yeah.
I'm open. I don't care what your credit score is. I don't care what you got. You got money. You got a job. You getting paid. You've gone through all this other stuff.
Yep.
Make me promises on the stars and the moon and everything else. Like, I like to give people second chances at life. That's what my whole thing is on. But you got to pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like with my
and they say, yeah, I got 20 grand. Says I'll have it done in 2 years. Let's do it.
Good. So whenever they don't renew or they don't get a mortgage, and they just say, you know what, we're gone, do you just tell them, well, you have up until this day to move out, right? And if they don't, then it's an eviction.
Yeah, but they usually call and they say, hey, we decided we're not going to be able to buy it, and we're going to be out this weekend, so you can have the keys on Monday.
Good.
It's a pride thing for them. They're trying to save a little bit of face, and so they don't. Who knows what they've told their people? Who knows what they've got going on? And I always, my heart always goes out to them, because when I met them, their whole life depended on getting this house and living here and loving it and blah, blah, blah. And whether they just fed me a line or not, I believed them.
Yeah.
And so now they're in a tough spot, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't put them there.
Yeah. But you're right. When they have the landlord mentality versus a renter, it changes things.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
They have a little more. They're a little more embarrassed. They're versus a renter that just takes off and
bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they may have had to borrow $2,000 or $3,000 from all of their parents and their grandparents and whatever, and so they've got that, and they know, like, I don't need to confront them about that. Like, they're gonna do that to themselves. So I try to make it as easy as possible. I try to make it as easy possible and simple as possible for my sellers. I try to make it as simple and happy for my buyers. Yep. And people love that.
So,
and they pay
my next question. Yep. Do you feel, I know you had mentioned that you might deactivate your license, but it was still active, right? So what are the pros that you feel is, because I'm up for renewal like next month. Like what do you feel is worth keeping the license?
We make 3 offers
Yep.
every time we look at a house. So if you have a license, you can make that 4th one. Or I'll just list it, I'll make a commission, and it'll just be normal, and we don't have to worry about any of this other stuff.
Yep.
Or you go in and you say, I'll list it for this, or I'll start making you payments for this. So you can play back and forth, because most agents are going to go in and say, I'm going to list it, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of agents basically say.
Yeah.
But you go in and you have options. And I think the person with the most options is the smarter person, because they're going to be able to see outside the box and not just see one solution for every problem.
Yep. That's true.
Multiple solutions for every problem all the time.
That's great. I didn't think about that, but it's right. It's true. I mean, you can offer them so much more than just a realtor that's looking to get the 3% or whatever.
You're a one-stop shop, and you can even, manage the property. Maybe you want to try me out for a year, I'll manage it, and then in a year I'll make you another offer to buy it, and then I'll give you the same money, but then you're going to be saving, because then you won't have to pay me. You go into all of this other stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and when I started telling people, like, that house that my boss brought me, that he was just like, no commission, like, she was so happy to get it off her hands.
Yep.
Like,
and there's lots of other people out there like that.
Yes.
There's tons of people like that.
Exactly. So I think, now that I'm not putting as much time into real estate, being
regular
a realtor.
Yeah.
I'm going to start investing in my own real estate, but not in the time that I was putting in as being a realtor. Now I'm going to put in as like yellow letters. I haven't even done that.
Here comes our next $100,000.
Yeah. Let's start the yellow letters. And so now I'm like, this is what I'm going to do versus looking for listings. No, like, it's not my thing, honestly. Like, I've seen, this is what I want to do.
There are some other pros. So instead of doing an assignment, like if you get into a weird situation or there's just a small little bit that you're going to be able to make, you could technically take it as a commission.
Okay.
Instead of having the property under contract and you being the buyer and getting an assignment, you could just revert back to being the listing agent and just sell it flat and get a commission or a flat commission, or you don't have to do a percentage, or, however. So the paperwork is easier for the title company when you have a license sometimes.
Yep.
Another pro. Some people like agents. They like that it's a, governing body or whatever. There's somebody above you. They like the prestige that comes with that license. Some people don't want to deal with realtors because they had a bad experience. So there's people that like it and there's people that don't. So when you have it and you can use it, or when you have it and you can say, but I'm not like those others, then you can still use it that way too. So there are some pros to having a license, but I did put mine in retirement.